to another episode of the CEO and the Lobster. This time we are talking about some topical news from the last week. XRP up 66% in one day, and we really felt that here on Friday when we had a booming day with a whole lot of people buying and a few selling XRP token. So we're going to have a chat today about why that happened, what's behind that, what's next. But first, I thought I'd kick off with what actually is XRP and how it's related to Ripple. They used to be sort of almost synonymous, but they are actually quite distinctly different things. So they are inherently related, but they are separate entities. So Ripple is a company, which is a payments company, a centralized fintech business, and they build global payment products. They're kind of a competitor with the Swift network. And they developed the XRP payment system. And the XRP payment system uses XRP token as a digital asset for some of its online payments and currency swaps. So Ripple is a listed company that you can buy shares in. XRP is a cryptocurrency token that you can buy and sell, and they're related, but not the same thing. On that, XRP is a token, it's gone up 66% in a day, which is a big move, but it's also well below the price it was when I bought in 2017. So Patrick, what's behind the price of XRP and what drives that in your views?
So I think, so XRP it's a bit of an interesting one because it's very unique in terms of its altcoin, its age, the company that's backing it, right? But it is very unique in the fact that it's fixed supply. Most of that supply is still held by Ripple. And then the use cases at the end of the day are largely to do with the Ripple's products that they bring, right? They're looking at payment settlement layers where you pay the fees in XRP. And so at the end of the day, price is based on supply and demand. And now that we've seen almost like these shackles be released with this court case on Ripple, people are thinking, okay, cool, well, there's going to be a lot more demand for this product. If supply remains the same, price is going to rise. I'm going to buy that. That's kind of become a self-fulfilling prophecy where the price has risen because people think the price is going to rise. But that kind of leaves us to the situation about what's caused this situation. What were they actually being sued about? Why was this such a big hurdle? And so back in, I believe it was 2014, don't quote me on that exact date, but they did an ICO. It wasn't a traditional ICO as we think about it, where it was listed on a DEX or anything. It was actually only offered to institutional investors such as hedge funds as a way of funding Ripple's development. The idea is that this represented the sale of a security, something in the US. It's a bit of a controversial term. You'll hear this term, the Howey test, thrown around a little bit. So the Howey test is Supreme Court in the United States came to a ruling. I believe it was in the early 1940s. It was the SEC versus the Howey Corporation, I believe is the exact name. And my understanding is that it was over an orchard. I believe it was an orange orchard, an orange plant tree, I don't know, orchard in
Orange like a lobster.
in Florida. And it was about the investment in essentially this farm and about the expectation of getting a return off it. And it was quite a complicated case, but it's kind of set the benchmark. And then it really hasn't changed since then. There's been more and more edge cases. There's been a bit of fleshing out with it, but it really hasn't changed. And it's just a really interesting piece of law. Also, important note, it doesn't apply.
It hasn't changed much until I met crypto, right? Because crypto is full of use cases and things that don't quite fit the mold. And so I think we've got probably going to have a lot of challenges to the Howey test coming up, and it might need a bit of a rewrite for the strange new world of digital assets.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And it kind of underpins how the SEC regulates crypto. That's why this case is so important, right? So it's the Securities and Exchange Commission, or the Exchange of Securities. They only have jurisdiction if it's a security, right? So the question about whether...
And also, they only have jurisdiction in the US, which is something that we're always a bit amused by, how much the impact of the regulators in the US has globally and sort of sends ripples through, no pun intended, through the crypto community. The US is very influential as far as regulatory bodies go in crypto industry.
I'm certain that pun was intended. So the SEC essentially wanted to make the argument that Ripple, they sold a security, it falls under their jurisdiction, that they essentially sold a security without being a registered securities provider. It was an unregistered security. And yeah, they wanted to test it, right? And then kind of came into where it affected the rest of the industry is, well, okay, well, if XRP is a security, anyone within the US selling it is breaking the law. So that's why Coinbase, that's why companies like Binance delisted it, is because they didn't want to be seen to be selling a security. Essentially, they'll if they were breaking the law, it was going to be decided in this court case. So they didn't know if they were breaking the law, so they just took the less risky approach and delisted it in advance.
So when did the exchange delistings over internationally happen? Because I know that, it's been quite interesting that throughout this whole case, XRP has still been a top 10 coin, like really high market cap and really high trading volumes, even though it's been delisted by other exchanges. And maybe after you tell me a bit about that, I'll sort of point out why Easy Crypto hasn't delisted that and sort of what our markers are of that.
Yeah, so I think this really importantly highlights that the SEC, despite sounding a lot bigger than they are, they only have jurisdiction in the United States. So when we talk about the exchanges that delisted them, the United States is a huge market, but it's not the be-all and end-all of the crypto market. So we're talking about Binance US, we're talking about Coinbase, we're talking about exchanges with direct operations within the United States. Binance Global, for example, had no issue in having it, right? Because they are not actually under United States law. So that kind of leads to Easy Crypto, why we didn't have to.
Yeah. So New Zealand has quite different security laws from the US. So in New Zealand, the definition of securities is actually one of two things. You can have debt securities or equity securities. So debt security is where you are borrowing money from someone and you have the right to demand that they pay the money back. So you would think that perhaps USDC, USDT fall into that category, but due to the nuances of how those coins are issued, they actually don't technically meet the definition of debt securities for New Zealand purchases. Then the other option is equity security, where it is a security if you're buying an ownership stake in a company, for example, buying shares in Ripple. So we couldn't list shares in Ripple because that would be an equity security, and there's a whole sort of raft of other requirements that come with that. Sharesies might be able to list them though, or Hatch, but yeah, not Easy Crypto. All right, so back to what we were talking about, which was the the Ripple case. But the outcome of it, and note that this is only a summary judgment, so there is still option for both sides to take further action, take it to court. But the commentary we're hearing in the market is that that is unlikely. And the summary judgment is that the sale of the coin to retail individuals did not represent a sale of a security, but to wholesale individuals it did. Have I got that right, Patrick?
I actually think it is the other way around, because it was initially sold to institutional investors because there's different standards for them.
Yeah, I thought it was determined that it was okay to sell it to the retail individuals, but I guess there's different things, right? There's Ripple selling it initially as a wholesale to wholesale customers, and then there's those wholesale customers, for example, Binance on selling it to their customers, right?
Yeah.
And the second is not a sale of a security, but the first is.
Yeah, okay, so it's the actual the initial offering where they sold it to the exchanges with not necessarily exchanges, but like hedge funds, large institutions, where those large institutions had the expectation that they would make profit off them being on sold to other people, correct?
Yeah, but then the on-selling to other people on the secondary markets, where you and I would buy them, that was not the sale of a security.
Yeah, okay. No, that makes a lot more sense. Again, these are really complicated things, and this is definitely not legal advice. So yeah, if we've gotten anything wrong, please let us know down in the comments below.
Yeah, but it's a really interesting test case. It sort of opened, I guess it's that precedent setting for, there's been a lot of discussions of, Bitcoin always seems to sit in the clear, but everything after Bitcoin, there's always question marks on, is it a security? Which parts of the Howey test does it meet? Ethereum sort of had a few back and forths on that. There's been issues on other tokens. And so this ruling for XRP is really important and influential in the crypto world to help give confidence to exchanges who, to be fair, have been asking for a long time for clarification from the SEC on what is and isn't securities. And as you might have seen in which court summary was it the FTX one, that like a whole bunch of things got listed as maybe being securities, which was inconsistent with previous judgments. And it really is a bit all over the place. So this is quite an influential and impactful court finding.
Yeah, the point Janine's referring to is, so Binance US and Coinbase are both getting sued by the SEC, and in their court filings they both list a bunch of assets, but some are called securities in one case, some are called securities in another case, and there's not actually a lot of overlap, despite them both selling nearly the exact same stuff. Anyway, we'll figure out what's going on here. There's going to be a lot of people talking about this stuff, a lot more legal stuff to come. It's definitely not the end of the road, but it's definitely going to be an interesting journey to watch, and it'll be really impactful on the crypto space, I think, about how we move forward.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, till next time, stay safe, enjoy the crypto roller coaster, and we'll see you on the next one.
Till next time.